You're listening to the Weekend Sport Podcast with Jason Pine from News Talk ZB.
Around about this time on a Sunday, we always get the chance to chat to James McOnie. It's a little bit earlier than usual because there's quite a bit of material, but you'll be sure to add the extra 2 or 3 minutes to your invoice. James, how are you?
Oh, yeah, I'll do that for sure. But how much sport? I'm still buzzing and also stressing from watching penalty shootouts. That's how I'm
feeling. Waking up in the middle of the night in a cold sweat, reliving it all. Before we get to that, we've seen Rugby World Cup squads named in the last 7 or 8 days or so, the All Black squad, and then Eddie Jones unveiling his Wallaby squad during the week. Eddie Jones, James, genius or just a little bit deluded?
Well, he's definitely crazy, but he's a smiling crazy man, and he enjoys the fact that he is. And I know that the headline was that he dropped Michael Hooper and Quade Cooper. But I don't actually feel that sorry for them because they've had so many opportunities. 125 tests for Hooper, 80 tests for Cooper. But I actually feel sorry for guys like Pete Samu, Len Ikitau, Jed Holloway. They're at their peak. And this was their chance to actually go to a World Cup. And I just feel like Eddie hasn't been paying attention. They're really good test players.
Oh, absolutely they are. And I see Sonny Bill came out in support of, I think him and Quade Cooper are quite good friends, and maybe that sort of is part of all of this. But talking about experience at World Cups, and you look, I don't think any team has ever done any good in any game of rugby without a decent first five. I'm not saying Carter Gordon isn't, and Ben Donaldson isn't either, but they've got 6 caps between them. They're not going to win a World Cup with those two guys in the 10 jersey, are they?
Well, that's the thing. I'm even a Bernard Foley fan. If it wasn't for him having the little tete-a-tete with the French referee last year, the Wallabies would have won that test in Melbourne. So I think Foley actually knows how to run a game. I think Cooper does as well. But that's the thing. That's where he's taking you right. That's the biggest risk. And really, players like Hooper and Samu, they should be the guys who are on injury reserve cover because I think they would make an immediate difference to their team. Like, I do like 18-year-old fullback Max Jorgensen. I think it makes sense. He's a huge talent. He could just be a breakout star. But the more I look at it, I think, okay, Eddie's gone rogue. He's kind of lost the plot. But that's what he's always been like, really.
I look at their pool, and it's probably it's probably the easiest pool. You've got Portugal and Georgia in there, but then you've got Fiji and Wales. Fiji beat Japan by, I don't know, it's 30-odd, I think it was 35-12 the other week. Wales only just lost to England overnight and beat them last weekend. Is there a universe in which Australia doesn't get out of this Rugby World Cup pool?
Yeah, there is. Absolutely. I mean, they got a fright last time, didn't they, against Fiji? I think they seem to stumble their way through a lot of World Cup pool games these days, Australia. They're not the consistent force they were. And maybe that's what Eddie Jones is thinking. By being conservative, you get the same Wallabies we've always had, And the more I look at these World Cup squads, I think the risks that some coaches are taking and some coaches aren't is all about, like you say, the scare in a pool game. And just going back to our All Black squad, I feel just looking at it, I've had time to look at it, I think the only player who should feel aggrieved is Brad Weber. That's the only guy because of how well he played all year. And if Aaron Smith goes down, you'd want Weber to start a test match or a semi-final, I think.
Yeah, no, very fair assessment. I totally agree with that. Let's move on to the FIFA Women's World Cup, which has been just extraordinary. And last night, that shootout drama in Brisbane, 20 players of the 22 stepped up to take spot kicks. I don't know how they do it. I said to my wife, I would crumble under that pressure. I would absolutely fold like a pack of cards. Incredible theatre, though.
Yeah, it is. It's amazing. It's so hard to watch. Sometimes I found myself walking over to the kitchen, which I frequently do, to the fridge. But the thing is, I just find it so stressful. And of course, the 19-year-old player for France who missed, Vicky Betcho, she almost scored the winner, but Mackenzie Arnold was just having a huge night, even though she did miss her chance to seal the game by taking a penalty herself. But her saves were just instrumental. And I was talking to my friends in France, and they were saying that Australia deserved it. And I think that's pretty much right. I think Australia played the better football in the end, even though France had a great start. But honestly, penalty shootouts, I think it's too tough on teenagers because I'd much rather, when Rapinoe missed, I mean, that's fine. She's going to retire a legend. She's already won 2 World Cups, but it's just so harsh, isn't it?
For a 19-year-old, absolutely it is. Absolutely. Hey, now, so Australia now play England. When Australia play England in anything, who do you cheer for?
It varies, but in this case, it's going to be Australia. Yeah, for sure. And I mean, just riding that wave. And of course, they've got their X Factor player, their trump card. Sam Kerr is just coming back from injury, and meanwhile, England still have Lauren James suspended after she stood on a Nigerian player in their round of 16 games. So that adds more intrigue. But yeah, it's hard to say. In the Ashes, I was almost going for Australia until that stupid stumping, the run out of Bairstow.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, you're allowed to change. Yeah, and cricket, an Ashes series gives you plenty of opportunity. What's that? 5 is 25 days to chop and change. Yeah, exactly. Hey, just back to the rugby. Did you see that tackle by Owen Farrell this morning on the Welsh player that had him sent off, yellow card initially, upgraded to a red? He's got incredible form in this area, and they're now talking about Owen Farrell, the captain of England, possibly, well, he'll almost certainly miss the start of the World Cup, but they're talking about an entry point of 6 matches. That's the whole World Cup apart from the final.
Yeah, I know, and there's 2 things to consider here. One is that Owen Farrell has previous, as Warren Gatland said, like he's this evil criminal, but he does. He's always going high, leading with the shoulder, no arms. So I mean, it was direct contact to the head. It should be a 6 week or 6 match ban, and that's. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen really with it. I'd say it's going to get downgraded. I reckon he'll miss the pool games. That's about it. But Owen Farrell has a massive tackling problem. Apparently, he went through a course in January on how to tackle better. So he's been told.
Is that like one of the courses that you and I have been on, where you get sent along to this course to learn ABC, and you're really just there for the those little mints that they wrap up and and put on the table and lunch? Yeah,
the biscuits. I mean, this is the thing. Owen Farrell, he was destined to wear the number 10. Steve Borthwick is very he's one of the conservative coaches, and Marcus Smith, the first 5 who played so well against the All Blacks in the draw last year, he was pretty much out of the 23. Now he's going to be forced to play him in some capacity. It's going to work in his favour because Marcus Smith is an absolute breath of fresh air and can run the ball, so it might actually work out for England.
Hey, Warriors last night, they weren't great by their own standards against the NRL's wooden spooners, but they won the game. Is that kind of the most important thing, or with the last 3 games not quite being where they would like to be, is there an issue here or not?
Yeah, I think there is. They're sputtering a bit. The Tigers are the wooden spooners. Dane Laurie carved us up a few times. There are a few cracks appearing. However, if Dallin Watene-Zelezniak can still score tries while in midair with 99% of his body out of play, then we've got a chance.
I've never seen a player. Sorry, Jim. I've never seen a player be able to do that as consistently as him. And that you're right. And when they didn't even check it because they knew that he got it down.
I know, it's him. They look at his reaction, they see the mullet, they just go, "Oh, it's a try." We're okay with that. So I do think that even though I've got the easy run home, Manly, St George, Dolphins, and the first 2 at home, looking at the top 8, I think the Warriors match up best against the Raiders and the Sharks. So, but if we have to play anyone else in that top 8, I think we might be in trouble.
All right. Well, yeah. All right. Well, let's finish with the Premier League. I kind of feel like we should just give the trophy to Manchester City, and then just have bets on how many goals Erling Haaland will score.
That's the thing. I saw, actually, weirdly, when I switched over, I heard that the Arsenal kickoff was delayed and the penalty shootout was still going. I can't remember, or vice versa. It was the second game, wasn't it? Yes. Anyway, there was a lot of drama going on. All I'll say. And then when I watched the EPL, it wasn't anywhere near as intense as what the World Cup was. It was just. But then Erling Haaland managing to score 2 goals from the first game of the season. I think he might go a goal a game. Now, Pele almost did that for his entire career. 93% was what he did. But I think 38 games, in the EPL, Piney, a goal a game from Haaland.
So that, by my maths, that's 38 goals.
Yes. You're really good at... Actually, that's spot on. I actually had 35, but you're right, 38, yeah.
Oh, I love it, mate. Hey, thanks for taking a bit of extra time with us today. Always love talking some sport with you. We'll do it again next Sunday.
Cheers, Piney. Take care, mate.
You take care too, James. James McOnie, part of our Sundays, one of the most popular parts of our Sundays. Catch him on The Crowd Goes Wild, Kiwi Football Fix, Alternative Commentary Collective, where he is just sensational, and across all of your social media platforms as well.
For more from Weekend Sport with Jason Pine, listen live to News Talk ZB weekends from midday or follow the podcast on iHeartRadio.